A miracle on the Galata bridge. Layla carefully wiped God's face with her cloth. It was important to be very gentle. She looked at God's face again. Yes, it was much better. After another hour's work, God's face would be clean and everyone could see it. Then she would have a cup of coffee with the others before returning to her work in the North Gallery. "How's it going, Layla?" Her boss, Meryl, was standing next to her. Meryl looked at the painting. "Good morning, Meryl Hannum," Layla said politely. "Good morning, Layla." She looked at the girl's work. "That's very good, Layla." "Yes. It was very good." Layla had rubbed away the whitewash without rubbing away any of the paint underneath. The pink of God's face was perfect. "Yes, very good, Layla. Any problems?" "No, Meryl Hannum. I don't think so. It's just as you said, we have to be very careful." "That's right. It doesn't matter how long you take. But don't rub the whitewash too hard. If you do, you might rub off the paint as well." Thank heavens the Ottomans used whitewash to cover up these Christian paintings. Thank heavens they didn't use paint. Layla nodded. Although she was a Muslim, she thought that these Christian paintings were very beautiful. She loved the kind faces of the angels and the saints, and she loved the gold paint around their heads. She wanted to rub away all the whitewash and bring the paintings to life again. "Do we know what is in the rest of this painting?" she asked Meryl. "No. Perhaps it's another painting of God with his angels standing round him. But be patient. Do your work well, and you will find out for yourself. Inshallah, God willing." "Inshallah," murmured Layla. During the coffee break, Layla sat quietly and listened to the others talking. They were all experts and employed in the Hagia Sophia Museum. She was still a student. "Well, Selim Bey," said one of them, "how is that terrible painting in the South Gallery?" Selim made a face. "One gets used to it. But I am tired of all these Christian saints and angels. They all look so miserable." "Rubbish," said another. "They look serious because they are standing in front of the throne of God. They are serious, but they are not miserable. In fact, they are happy." Selim shook his head. "I don't agree. If they are happy, why can't they look happy? If you are standing in front of God, you should be happy. Listen, you have seen a lot of saints and angels. We find more under the whitewash every day, but have you ever seen one who is smiling?" There was a silence. Layla was shocked. She thought that the angels and the saints had beautiful faces. They were serious, but they were beautiful. She wanted to say something, but she was only a student. "Come on," said another. "We must get back to work or Meryl Hannum will stop smiling at us." Layla went back to her painting on the wall of the North Gallery. As the days turned into weeks, more and more of the painting would be seen. Meryl Hannum was right. It was a picture of the throne of God with his angels standing round. And Selim Bey was right. They were all serious. They did not look happy, even if they were happy inside. The painting was nearly finished now, except for one small corner. She could hardly wait to finish the picture. She picked up a fresh cloth and attacked the whitewash. Too late. Layla, who had always been so careful, rubbed too hard, and rubbed away the whitewash and the paint underneath. She looked with horror at the spot. The gold was still around the angel's head, but the angel had no face. She had rubbed out the angel's face. "Oh, no," she cried out loud. "What shall I do? What will Meryl Hannum say?" It was time to go home. Layla was too afraid to tell Meryl Hannum what had happened. She packed up her things and went out of Hagia Sophia without speaking to anyone. She slept badly that night. In her dreams, she saw the faces of angels. They were angry faces, except one, which was blank. This was the worst face of all. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, nothing. And yet it seemed to be angrier than all the others. Next morning Layla got up and went to work early. She didn't want any breakfast. She decided to walk to Hagia Sophia over the Galata bridge. "Excuse me, miss," said a voice behind her. She turned round. She thought she knew the voice, but the man was a stranger. He was a young man, very thin and very pale. Layla never spoke to men on the street. Her mother had taught her that, but this one seemed all right. There was something childlike about him. She looked at his face. Hadn't she seen him somewhere before? "I'm sorry to bother you, miss," the stranger said, "but can you tell me how to get to Hagia Sophia? I'm going there myself. You can come with me." Layla was surprised. She felt very comfortable with the young man. What would her mother say if she heard her? "That's very kind of you," said the young man. "Tell me, what do you do? Are you a teacher?" Layla laughed. "Oh no, I'm just a student." "And what do you study?" "Art." He nodded. "What about you?" she asked. He did not reply. Perhaps he hadn't heard her. She looked at him again. She was sure she had seen him somewhere before. "I said, what about you? What do you do?" she asked. "I'm only visiting Istanbul," he said. It was not an answer to her question. "I mean, what is your job? Are you a teacher?" "You could say that. But you don't come from Istanbul, is that right?" "That's right. Forgive me, but I feel I have met you before. Are you at the university?" He smiled at her, a long, sweet smile. "Perhaps I have seen you at the university," he said. They had crossed the bridge now, and were close to Hagia Sophia. "You are an excellent student. You will do very well," he added. What a strange thing to say, thought Layla. He sounds more like an old man than a young boy. "Is that Hagia Sophia?" he asked. Layla nodded. "So now you know where you are." She pointed across the square. "That's the main entrance over there. But I don't think the museum is open until... ... single quote. She stopped in mid-sentence and looked round. He had gone. What a strange boy, she thought. As Layla went upstairs to the gallery, the memory of last night returned. She forgot about everything else. Slowly she removed the cloth which covered the painting. There was the face of God. And there were the angels standing round his throne, beautiful as always. He was, after all, her God too. She knew that she had to look at the rubbed-out face of the last angel. She took one last look at the face of God and the serious faces of the other angels and then said a little prayer. Then she looked at the comer of the painting. There he was, the last angel. The one with no face. She stared, not believing her own eyes. There was no sign of the damage. The angel had a face. It was a pale, thin face. The face of the young man she had met on the Galata bridge. There was something else that made Layla very happy. She ran downstairs. She wanted to tell the others what she had found. Postscript. If you ever go to Istanbul, go to Hagia Sophia. It is an interesting place. Go inside, climb the stairs to the North Gallery and look at the wall paintings. They all seem to be the same. But if you look carefully, you will see one which is different. In the bottom left-hand corner, an angel is smiling. As far as I know, it is the only smiling angel in any painting in any Christian church in the world.